I think it's a bit sad I'm here on my birthday, to be honest, but anyway.
I think it's great.
Yeah, well, it's also Jack's birthday tomorrow, which is, we found out this morning, which is quite exciting. So, little cheer for you there. Good, right, good morning, everyone. Thanks for turning up, I guess, is the first thing. But what we're here to do today is talk about, that really interesting interaction between creativity and commerce. I think that what we're all here to do is to make meaningful experiences, and that comes out in many different ways and formats. But at the end of the day, what we do want to do is make sure it works. So I'm thrilled to be joined here today with Jack to talk a bit more about how that all looks. So I think, Jack, first off, as director of TikTok Shop at L'Oreal, how do you approach, combining creativity and commerce?
Brilliant, yeah, thanks so much. So it was about 3 years ago when, 4 years ago, when TikTok approached L'Oreal and said, we're launching TikTok Shop. And I think I was very, very excited on behalf of L'Oreal, but also personally, because for the first time, we've got an app that has half the UK adult population. It's a destination for creativity and content, and within 3 clicks, you can purchase something. So for a company like L'Oreal, who pioneers innovation and creativity, that is like a dream combination. And I think when we think about how to approach it, I'm a commerce background, I'm like more of an e-commerce background. I think it was hard for me because I had to think content first. Like, we all know TikTok is a destination for content, for entertainment, and not for commerce. And so I think that was really important for us as an organization to go, right, how do we put the consumer at the heart of this? How do we put content at the heart of this? And then how do we make sure that all of that creativity and insight then drives the commerce rather than the other way around, which would be me and my fulfillment and pricing and assortment and all the boring stuff, which, is important, but not where you start on TikTok.
I think, you talked a bit in the past about some interesting examples where that creativity is fueled by commerce. I think we all think of commerce in this, percentages, green arrows, red arrows, and the two not working that well together. It'd be really great to just hear a bit from you on, those two interacting and where you've learned from commerce and how that's led into creative thought.
Sure, I'm so persuaded now that creativity and commerce are such good friends, and they're not enemies. They don't have to pull in opposite directions. And I think we've seen that because of this real-time kind of loop that I'm suggesting between content and commerce. If you allow not just your content to fuel your commerce, but you think, okay, like you are now connected in a way that we've never been to our consumers actually buying our products and commenting on that, the experience of that. This didn't work, that was good. And if you allow that in real time to fuel your creativity, then you provide this amazing feedback loop. And that's not always positive, by the way, the feedback loop. But can I give one example?
Huh?
I'll give one example.
Yeah.
So on Garnier, we had amazing viral success last year based on the insight of 9 out of 10 people not wearing SPF every day. And we're like, right, here's a UV glow with SPF, great content, spark virality. But then we started, my team, the commerce team, started adding in more products, including this huge bottle of Micellar, 700 ml. And we noticed that everyone was loving the size of it, including the creators. And so we just did a whole round of content. We're like, right, hold this Micellar bottle up to the side of your face and show that it's actually bigger than your face. And that sparked another viral wave of content. And that was purely picked up because of all the reviews we had on our commerce. Really small example, but we've done hundreds of things like that, and it's really helped us fuel that infinity loop.
Nice. I think I saw you speak a few months ago, and sort of to this point of creativity impacting commerce, commerce impacting creativity. You introduced this really interesting notion of the collapsed funnel. I think it'd be great to talk a bit about that because all marketers know we've been following this, funnel routine for a while now, and I think you've got a really interesting perspective on how that's changing and how you've seen it changing.
Yeah, I'm not trying to reinvent the funnel, and I still believe in the marketing funnel. All I'm observing is through creativity and really good content is that you can get people through that funnel quicker than you ever imagined. And that's what we're seeing, that through insight-led creative content, people on their For You feeds can discover a need they didn't even know they had, and a product to meet that need in a creative, fun way, and buy a product all in 60 seconds. And we've seen this time and time again on the platform, that even before our traditional marketing campaigns have even got going, we have had products flying off the shelf in store.
Yeah, I think we've got a quick
We've
example.
got an example.
Here. Yeah.
Oh, we're a bit behind on our slides. There we go. Yeah, so this is one of our examples. So it was the infallible 3-setting setting mist from L'Oréal Paris. It was genuinely new innovation onto the market. It was an aerosol can to fix your makeup for 72 hours. The creators loved it. It's so important to listen to the creators because they are most in touch with their communities and what the communities are going to love. And they said, this is the product. So we did a campaign with them, and we did all sorts of content hooks, but they were all basically, again, around insight of, okay, when you take your white top off, it gets covered in makeup, or here, I can go to sleep with a full face of makeup and wake up for my 5 a.m. flight, or I can douse my face with water and the makeup doesn't move. So it was all those sort of creative hooks. But as I said, what we found is we led with 40 paid videos and then let the affiliates follow, and they did a brilliant job of then amplifying that even further. This was all happening in December, before the brand team had even gone live with the full campaign, which was January. We were already the #1 setting spray in the market, and I'm talking bricks and clicks there. And that was born out of just an army of affiliates with some creativity and some decent hooks. There's no marketing funnel there. They've just gone through that in the space of one video, or in the end, it was 2,000 videos. But it helps with the scale.
Nice. So now, that's a bit more of an isolated incident. That's more of a product launch.
Yeah.
When we're thinking creativity, when we're thinking in that way, we want to think a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Popped over to your offices the other day.
You did.
And you've got an incredible hotel set.
We got a hotel set.
You've got the concierge, a bed with cameras. I was going to do a selfie of us there, but that would look a bit weird with us in the background, so I didn't. But it'd be great to hear a little bit about that Garnier launch you've done and the interesting things that you've pulled through from a creative perspective there.
Yeah, look, I think we've been trying to challenge ourselves that it's not just creativity, but we want to tap into the conversations and the trends that are going on in the platform. And the team, much more than I, finger on the pulse, we're saying, right, Hailey Bieber, glazed donut skin, come on, we've got to tap into this. And so we just thought about all the different ways in which we could pull that trend together using some of our existing products and new products. And we came up with this great donut packaging, and all the products were in there to get your glazed donut skin. And what we found is, especially giving creators something visual and tapping into that cultural moment and the conversation, really helped us do what I said before, which is help the affiliates amplify this content, and then bringing in some big VIPs. So that week we had the likes of Jamie and Sophie Lang, we had Davina, sat in a ball pit with the glazed donut skin. And I think what was really exciting about this moment was not that we drove loads of sales, but we did, and it was a very good week for the brand and sales. But the brand team afterwards were like, oh my goodness, we've just nailed it. Like, you have, in 1 week, both made our brand more relevant, more culturally relevant, younger, and cooler. We've done that while selling loads of products. And I think usually in people's minds, they're, again, diametrically opposed, and I just don't think they are anymore. I think we're in the age where we can do all of this fun stuff and make some money.
Yeah, and I think, this ball pit became a big thing that shifted.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah,
I think that's on the Today program. So they kind of did and then, it was picked up in the Daily Mail. So I think we created a cultural moment, which is quite nice. Like, we weren't just, feeding off the trends. We were creating culture.
Yeah, amazing. And obviously, performance.
Yeah, I said. Yeah, so 6 out of the top lives on the platform that week. We had 2 of the top videos that week on the platform. Huge uplift in market share on the platform. So it definitely worked, but also I think it was executed in a way, like I said, that really represented the brand well and recruited a lot of new consumers.
Great. I think, in that slide before, it was about that 2D to 3D, and a big part of the success of this was that live element to it.
Yes.
So I think, when we're thinking about, slightly future-facing things, this live element that we're able to bring through with TikTok creates a whole new creative opportunity for brands to engage with consumers. Like, perhaps it's people want to see it maybe go wrong, and
Yes.
that's what everyone likes.
Yes.
But also, I think it'd be really interesting to hear your thoughts on
Sure.
how that played a role in that campaign,
Sure.
and how you see that moving forward.
Yeah, well, look, when you see the new brands are really, I would say they're the TikTok-born brands. That's Paige Louise and Made by Mitchell. What if they have done really well? If they have created universes which you step into, and they've created whole worlds that their consumers feel like they're a part of. And I think we've learned that as well, that lives, everyone just says that's just QVC, isn't it? I'm like, no, that's not QVC. QVC was dull and boring. What we're wanting to do with our lives in real time is allow our consumers to meet the brand in its world, if that makes sense. So the hosts, what do they look like? Who are they? What are their personalities? How do they engage with the people on the live? What does the set look like? What are the product packaging? All of those touch points are brilliant. And when you think about traditional commerce, you're talking about a few banners here and there on a website. We're talking about immersive worlds in real time. And so often in lives, it goes off in a different direction, or we're having fun with the consumers in the live. And those interactions are what makes it, again, that feedback loop that we can spark off their creativity and often have a laugh with them, or help them find the product they need, or whatever it is. But I think it's so exciting, live shopping. I don't think it's QVC. I think it's immersive brand building content in real time.
Yeah, and I think, well, Davina seems to think so.
Davina thinks so. Davina said afterwards, like, honestly, Jack, I tell all the young people, TV's dying, get into this. The future is live streaming on these platforms.
Got to listen to Davina.
Davina's the OG.
So I think, on that point of the live stream storytelling, I think we're all aware that we feel somewhat behind to the likes of China. They've been doing it for a lot longer than us. What's your sort of viewpoint on where we currently stand on our acknowledgement and seeing the opportunity there compared to that part of the world, and where do you see that going over the next few years?
Yeah, sure. I was in Shanghai last year, and I think what really struck me was the scale of it, obviously. And I would say they're at least 5 years ahead, but it's not just Davina McCall and Jamie and Sophie Lang doing the odd live stream. It is their absolute megastars, they're film stars who are doing these live streams. So it's so centrally, culturally to what's going on in China. And also, talking about the kind of brand building and the immersive experience, their attention to detail is just phenomenal on these sets. So I was behind the scene, all their hair and makeup is done a particular way for that day. Their outfits are specially chosen for the exact product they're selling. And I think that's where we're heading. Bigger superstars and greater and greater attention to detail. I think it's really exciting. I can't wait.
Amazing. I think if you wouldn't mind sharing a bit more about how you guys are thinking bigger as well at L'Oreal.
Sure.
I know
Should we end with that? We want to do a Q&A as well.
Yeah, we've got that coming.
How we're thinking bigger. Look, the brand teams have got a taste for this now. And I think, as I said, they're saying this as a channel, yes, to do sales, but also, to really express themselves. So I'll share one idea. We're thinking of doing a live stream on the back of a lorry in a kind of glass booth, driving around central London, because we want to actually invite consumers out. Sometimes it's tucked away in a studio somewhere. So we're thinking, how can we take this into the real world now and really involve the consumers? Oh, look, my button's gone on my head. There we go. That's the end.
Is that enough? Fantastic. I sort of wonder then if we've got any questions from the audience we might be able to.
Do we have any questions?
To throw you.
Yeah, one question for you. So it says, internally, how have you connected the dots between your commerce teams and processes and the influencer and creator teams?
I love that question. That's such a
question.
good question here. And that was the first thing that we did. So what we decided is that, did everyone hear that question? How we connected this in from an organization perspective at L'Oreal? So we have put the brand teams, specifically the social brand managers, at the center of TikTok Shop. And by that, I mean they're the ones who are closest to the consumer. They're the ones reading through all the comments from the campaigns. They're the ones who are most in touch with the trends. And so we listen to them and say, right, this is going to be our next campaign and next hook. It's going to be on this product. And we follow them rather than the commerce team saying, right, we need to launch this product. And so the most important thing is that every week we're meeting them, and they're feeding us, and they're dictating to us where we're going next and how we're following, the loop, exactly, and making sure the feedback's there. So I would say if you get that right and you put that first and you're fully embedded, I think everything else follows.
Amazing, amazing. Does anyone else have any other questions? There's only one that's come up through the app. Oh, we've got one here. I'm going to come over. One sec.
Oh, here we go.
We're going to adapt. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you so much for that. How are you embracing the live community through production?
Was that how are we?
How are you embracing the live community through production?
Okay, so one nice thing we did, I think this answers your question, but I don't know. Last week, we did a live with this lovely girl who does personalized suitcase art with spray paints and other graphics. So whilst we were talking about, it was a holiday-themed live show with our holiday products, she was in the background there personalizing all the luggage that you could get with your products. And we were just, it's just started such a conversation about what you want on your suitcase, but also where you're going on holiday. And I think allowing creativity to be played out on live is really nice for people to get involved with. And so we want to do, it works so well, we want to do lots more of that. Just live art, live creativity in the live stream, I think will help feed interest in community. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it's on 24/7, basically.
It's on 24/7.
Okay, and then the last question is, did you have to overcome any hurdles or challenges internally when it comes to live streams and the risks which are obviously associated with them? So back to the risk factor.
Yeah, yes. I think, look, there's risks everywhere, isn't there? The brand teams are, there's risk of short videos that you don't like. There's risks of things going wrong in lives. I think we've got some pretty good hosts. They, like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but in China, they are the best paid people in China for a reason. These hosts are unbelievably skillful.
Yeah, but you're giving it a lot away.
Okay, that's it. I'm not saying any more.
Go, continue.
So I think we trust our hosts is the answer, and that's what they're paid for.
Yeah.
And they can think on their feet, they can deal with the problems, and you can stick a Jamie and Sophie Lang in there. Jamie got his feet out and was doing weird stuff. Yeah. I think Davina, something went wrong at one point as well, and they kind of are very adept at just,
And that generally, for any of the brands out there, there's generally that brand safety, right?
There is always.
There's always going to be
always that risk
play.
reward.
Yeah.
But as Max said, that's why they're watching the live, because they want to see Davina do something stupid on live stream. Do you know what I mean? That's why they're there. So.
Amazing. Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
Thank
Round
you.
of applause, everybody.